Right, ladies and gentlemen, first things first, I should probably address a few things. I am not a streaker. I was in fact supposed to be playing, and yeah, well, that's actually only one thing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are looking to buy coins throughout Team of the Season, then go visit my friends over at golder.com, where there's a 100% safety guarantee, instant delivery, and remember to use the code REEV for a discount. Obviously guys, in this video I'm going to be reviewing my performance, stuff about the Sidemen charity match that you might not have seen on the live stream. There were some things that definitely happened in the game that weren't caught on camera, and basically just an insight as to what it's like to go up against Mini-Minter, Manny, and Toby as a defender. Yeah, it was an entertaining game. But all in all, massive props to the Sidemen. Just generally, the event was absolutely awesome. And guys, don't forget that you can still actually donate to the cause that we were doing the charity match for in the description. I'll leave a link to the Just Giving page for Childline. And thank you once again to the Sidemen for inviting me to play. It's just insane. It really was just insane. And I'm probably never gonna feel an adrenaline rush quite like that for a very long while again. I've literally spent the last day and a half on an adrenaline come down. And just a second before we get into any more of the video, I'd just like to change one thing. There we go. But basically, yeah, guys, I was going into this game so excited, but at the same time, I had a ridiculously fat set of blisters on the bottom of my feet, so they were wrapped up in bandages. I would have been in agony had it not been for the pure adrenaline rush of the event itself. There was a point at which I thought I wasn't going to play this game because I just couldn't walk on my feet. And albeit it wasn't like the kind of performance I was expecting from myself, notably because you guys, if you watched on the live stream and you weren't exactly there, you will not have believed just how sweltering hot the conditions were. We went out for the warm-up before the game even kicked off, and just doing a few widths of the pitch, it took your breath away. Like I trained for this event and I thought I was genuinely quite a fit person going into it. As soon as the heat hit, I must have been on about 10% energy reserves. But obviously, same conditions for everyone, I suppose. It was a great feeling to not concede, especially coming off the back of last year where they scored 7 goals. But everyone on the All-Stars put in an absolute shift. Credit to every single person. Everyone's footballing abilities have actually improved a lot over the course of a year. But as you can see, the first highlight here, Charlie, oh, I cannot believe how far this lad kicks the ball. Genuinely, I was absolutely gobsmacked, and as you can see, I've completely misjudged how far this ball travels. The first bounce that I had to judge in the game, and it's pretty much set Simon away for what could have been a goal scoring opportunity. You guys have got to understand, Charlie Morley was kicking it probably further than a lot of Premier League goalkeepers kick the ball in game. And obviously after a few minutes of myself and Josh having a little chat and saying, you know what, this guy kicks it a ridiculously long way, we should drop off a bit because we're going to get caught out every time. This is a magic moment. Castro got his goal. Hernandez reminiscent. It was such a good header. If I was the defender in that perspective, probably would have wanted to do a little better, but flipping credit Castro because it was an exquisite header, and I've never felt such a buzz that when that went in, because I was direct from about 60 yards away from him. I was directly behind the line of the header, and it was a beautiful moment. And obviously we all ran to the corner, the whole team did. 1-0 in the second minute. I don't think the crowd were too pleased about what happened, but that was to be expected. They did, and nobody thought that we were going to score and go 1-0 up after 2 minutes. He massively changed my perception of him as his footballing ability in the first 45 minutes. The guy was insane. Like, this game was a very defensively heavy game. Credit to the Sidemen defense. Youtube AllStars, our defending was on point as well. Manny, Toby and Simon were just a huge threat. There were points at which I got the better of Manny, he got the better of me. Same with Toby and same with Simon, but that's just the way football goes. I think we did a pretty good job keeping them quiet. We doubled up. I said this to Joel during the game as well. If it wasn't for Joel, my game would have been a lot harder. That guy carried me through a lot of the match just by being there and being present. I'll let you guys into a little secret concerning the tactics. I said this before we'd even stepped out onto the pitch. If we're going to stop them scoring, we're going to have to double up on all of the main threats. Josh that went with Joel, or it was me and Josh, or it was me and Joel. We kind of played like a 3 centre-back trio sort of thing. I know Joel was playing CDM, but it was interchangeable. If I'd go and press, Joel would come with me, and then Josh would back off. But obviously, there were points, as I say, about JJ actually producing quite a good set of skills throughout this game as well. Like, he beats men for fun at some points. And it's tough to show you highlights of what I actually did, because I mean, a majority of what I did would have either been off camera. I've lost my voice, or had lost my voice, just by shouting and commanding everyone on the back line, and you wouldn't have heard it or seen it. And it's kind of something that goes unnoticed within a football match, but unless you're there, you never really know just how much of an impact somebody's making. A lot of people were very vocal during that game, and like positionally making sure other people know where they're supposed to be and telling them where they're supposed to be and just communicating within the team. You guys might not have seen that, and obviously with there being a crowd of 27,000 people, it did strain your voice a little. I'd just like to say a massive shout out to Gib as well, because the improvement that he made from the Southampton match to this Charlton charity match is immense. And this right here, I thought was the 2-0 going into half time. Marcus Butler, he should have buried it, in all honesty. It's a good save from Charlie, but he should have buried it, and that would have made the second half much easier, going 2-0 into the break. But it is what it is. We were still going in with the 1-0 lead. I think everyone was happy with the first half performance. I don't think many people were disheartened with how they played. And obviously, coming into the second half is where Reev The Streaker began. So obviously Joe on commentary, albeit it said my name like 16 times before we even got to this point. Didn't really know I was, made a joke about the fact that he thought I was a streaker. And if I'd have nearly scored the bicycle kick, maybe it would have been a different hashtag. And I realise now that this is more of a generic sort of overview of the game rather than individual highlights. I just wanted to give you guys a different feel, because obviously you've seen the highlights and I could explain bit by bit what happened in each part, but an evaluation of it is a little different to just telling you. It was an absolute joy to play alongside Josh Peters. It was a bit of a clean-up machine. And I know everyone said Harry was a bit of a clean-up machine, and Josh definitely put himself in some sticky situations on some occasions. Like the back pass was questionable situations where the guy killed it, man. The guy was, I mean, he got man of the match, and fair play. He was very solid, and he actually played a lot more football than I ended up playing, just because it was weird. Like the pitch was really bobbly, and you guys might not have seen that. It was quite kind of tough to keep it on the surface and play football. But unless you fizzed it into the player, there was no guarantee that you're going to control it properly just because of the bobble. But yeah, you could tell a lot of people were suffering with cramp or a little niggle here and there. And obviously another massive moment is Joel popping his shoulder out, and the guy was a beast about it, to be fair. I ran over to him, I was like, what's going on? He's pointing at his shoulders like, oh my gosh. And then both myself and Simon were just like screaming over to the ambulance people, and they were just dawdling. They were literally just like, they could have done the moonwalk and they probably would have got to Joel faster. It was shocking to see. It genuinely was a bit shocking to see, just because there's a guy with his like arm dangling out of his socket, and they're just walking over like, oh, okay, what's the problem? And then Joel's like, yeah, my shoulder's out. Oh, okay. Look, let's just get you back inside and pop it back in. As if it's nothing. The guy's got his shoulder dangling, like his arm dangling out of his shoulder, and they're just so casual about it. It's like they're paramedics. I don't know, anyway. But he came back on afterwards, and fair play to him. Like, he wasn't even supposed to come back on. There are a few goal line clearances here and there. In fact, I was really pleased with the goal line clearance I made. I thought it was genuine. I thought that was definitely travelling in, and I managed to stop it. And there's also a point now where you can see me take a throw in, and the ball kind of comes in and then comes out. And literally at this point, the camera didn't, like, I've watched the stream over and over again, and it does not pick me up, but my calf just completely goes with cramp at this point. And I'm limping across to Josh, and I'm like, Josh, my calf's gone, my calf's gone. He's like, don't worry, there's only about 20 minutes left. I was like, I don't know if I can make 20 minutes. Like, genuinely, it's gone. But it's weird, because like 10 minutes later, he's the one that actually goes down with cramp. Deji with a few chances here and there. Obviously, he had one in the first half. The kid should have buried it. I don't know what he was doing. I asked him afterwards, I was like, what happened, man? He was like, he saw his name up, he said, I saw my name up in lights, but I just couldn't score. Like, I just couldn't kick the ball. And also, speaking of Deji, I'm going to put a clip in now where you can't even see how good JJ's touch is to bring this ball down. Charlie absolutely hoofs it about 60% of the pitch, and JJ brings it down dead, like Ronaldinho-esque, and then just gets completely cropped by his brother, which is why he was really annoyed. The touch was so immense, he deserved to get something out of it, and all that ended up happening was he just got completely wiped out by his brother. And obviously, all throughout the game, Chris and Marcus was trying to break that back line. Harry, being the defensive rock that he was, for about 86 minutes, thwarted every single chance. Basically, Josh misjudged the bounce of the ball. Chris got through, and the rest is history. Like, what a goal. And I've never had such a buzz in my life than when I saw Chris roll that left foot shot across Charlie, and because I couldn't actually quite see the line of his run, so I was kind of watching on the screen, and at that point I saw it go in, and I looked at Josh, who we were both obviously back in defence for, just beaming with smiles, and then sprinted over to Chris. Great celebrations. Oh, it was immense, because at that point we knew we'd won the game, so it's just an unbelievable feeling to have that confirmed by such an incredible goal. And then there was moments at the end where Vic could have scored. I think the camera angle does it more justice, because I don't think Vic would have got there. Vuj, in my personal opinion, was right to try and take the shot on, because if he'd have played it back, Vic probably would have got tackled by Joel. Hugh Wizzy, the beast, performed really well throughout the game, made the save. That was the end of the game, and then sadly people had to ruin it with a silly pitch invasion, but it was one of the most mental experiences of my life. Now, I know this hasn't been quite specific to the events that happened in the game. I just wanted to give a general overview of what I felt about the whole thing, and obviously put clips in here and there where it mattered. But once again, thank you to the Sidemen for inviting me on such an incredible, I'm still speechless now to a point. I'm never going to experience something quite as good as that. It may happen again, but for the time being, I will never achieve or play in something quite as incredible. For everyone that watched it, I hope you enjoyed it. It was an insane event collectively, if you watched it on the live stream or if you watched it live. I know you guys might not have felt it was as much of a spectacle as you probably wanted to see. Like, it wasn't the 7-2 that happened last year, but for the players, for us personally, it was such a good football game to be a part of. It was really tense, went right down to the wire. It could have gone to penalties, and obviously you guys probably would have enjoyed that even more. But from a footballing perspective, to go 1-0, to hold that off for like 87 minutes, and then to get the second goal to actually win the game. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the video. I've never really done a video like this before, because I've never really had the chance to do it. If you enjoyed it, please do leave a like. Thanks for watching as usual, guys. Remember to donate if you still want to donate. I'll leave a link to it in the description. Once again, thank you to the Sidemen for putting on such an insane event, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Adios.